Hey everybody, it's Tico here, IQ Flipper on Instagram and YouTube. And it's been a while since I've done another video. Just got caught up with life things and running around, and things have kind of settled down. There's been some big changes now lately, and just figured I'd make a video and kind of talk about them. Essentially, when I started as a reseller around April 2019, I was still working as a full-time commercial lending auditor, and things were going pretty good. Had a decent salary and everything. For the reselling, I wouldn't even call it a side hustle. Just got into it, started learning about it, and figured I wanted to give it a shot, see what it could become. And but it was going to be on a part-time basis. I mean, my job, really, a real job at the time, took a lot of my time up. Between that and family commitments, right? It was not easy to really get or do a lot with it in terms of the selling on the side as I'd like to, but it went okay, considering it was just essentially one-man show. But now in early 2020, when the COVID thing started, everything shut down. Well, I couldn't do audits anymore for a while, with no businesses to go to because everybody was closed and they wouldn't let us in, of course, or couldn't even, according to the government rules, right? So essentially I lost my job. I mean, I wasn't exactly fired, there just weren't any audits to do. And I was getting paid by that employer on a pay-by-day basis. If I worked, I got paid. But I had always been kept very busy. It was a lot of work until that time where everything just suddenly froze. So at that time, I decided to take a job at Walmart, right away, pretty much when that happened. And being that they were able to be open as a essential seller or essential business, whatever they call it. And I started working in electronics there. It's not like I was really, excited to do it or anything. It had been many years, since I was a teenager, basically, and I'm 52 now, that I had been doing retail work. And as a teenager, that's kind of cool. Once you're a professional, you've been earning professional type salary, that kind of thing. It's a totally different environment and not as cool at all. So it was, whatever. The situation, something that had to be taken care of, so I did it. And the thing is, the danger with that is I notice you kind of start to possibly, if you're not very careful, you forget who you are, what your background is, what you really have become, and everything you've gone through education for, and real life and proper schooling and all those things. And next thing you know, it's almost like you're becoming, and I think that's common, the environment around you. You suddenly start even talking differently, just acting differently, thinking differently according to your surroundings, and that's whether they're better than they were before or they're worse than they were before, but that happens. And anyway, just over time, it was okay at first and kind of getting adjusted, and met some people at the store, and had a little chit chat and that kind of thing going on while we're working or whatever it was fine. Eventually the environment changed, and I now realize why Walmart has gone through lawsuits over their employment practices and that kind of thing. Managers started getting on our case all the time, and it just culminated to a point that they had 3 people, let's say, scheduled to work an evening, the evening shift, and then they'd bring out all the product that we had to put on the shelves. And then next thing you know, as soon as the product's out, or even before that, they take away 2 employees to the other departments to help out there. And the one employee left behind in electronics was expected to put everything away and deal with the customers and just get it all done magically somehow. When they started doing that, I spoke up, when it wasn't going to be possible. Like, I could tell, I wasn't going to be able to finish everything. And, they kind of seemed like as if they were trying to understand, but then eventually it's just kind of like it doesn't really matter. They say you just kind of have to do the job. That's what the job requires, and this sort of thing. And I was a temp there, by the way, and everyone else that worked in the department is actually there. Like, that's their main job. And I think they got a little bit maybe concerned. That's my theory. Concerned that me being the temp, I was going to disrupt things with the employees that was their real job. And next thing you know, they'd start speaking up or getting frustrated with the situation and just kind of complain and cause headaches for management, because the way they treated me started to change, and I was a very diligent employee. But then as things went on, they just would put more and more out there, and have me working 9-hour shifts lately, towards the end already, and with like more merchandise, myself alone, those 9 hours. They wouldn't send me anybody to cover me for the breaks, the lunch breaks and the regular breaks. It got to the point I gave up even trying to have the 2-hour breaks. I was entitled to the 15-minute ones. I was just satisfied if I got the full lunch break in. And so they just wouldn't really bother themselves unless you really complain, and then they'd send someone finally to cover you for the shift. But in that 9-hour shift, right, where they put out all the product and I'm supposed to do it alone and help customers, they would also then suddenly give you an extra project in there. Hey, by the way, we need you to change this display to that display, whatever it is, things like this. So now you had an extra thing that doesn't just take 5 or 10 minutes to do. And it was almost like they're setting you up for failure. So next thing you know, I end up getting written up by the manager for not doing my job because I couldn't do every aspect of all that, putting out the product and putting away the returns for that evening on the shelf and this sort of thing. And so they wrote me up, and with the comment on the writer being that, so we'll review this again in 2 weeks and see if there's been improvement and that kind of thing. And as things had built up, I had been speaking to my wife about it. She had been telling me, go ahead and quit if it gets to be too crazy. Whenever you're ready to quit, she says, I support you. Even though I've got no other job lined up at the time, this kind of thing. She's like, I support you. You don't need to take this. So during that time also, around early November, I formed my own commercial lending auditing company. And haven't marketed it yet. There's things to get together, equipment, get a list of contacts together, just little administrative things to really have it ready to go in case someone does decide to use you, right? So I had that going on the side along with the reselling business. And anyway, when they started to put that pressure and they wrote me up, I think it was 2 days later, maybe in the next day. The next day I worked a full shift and I was alone 5 hours in the department. And then the following day they had me 9 hours, at which time they, again, when it came time for my lunch break, they didn't send anybody to replace me. I called, and 45 minutes passed after they said they would, and then another 45. I kind of wait, but I call. I kind of following up, but nobody's sent over. And finally, I see a manager in the hall, and I tell him, hey, I was supposed to get my break, 2 hours ago. Right, I've been here 6 hours, and nobody's come by. And then he called, and they sent someone over. But that was kind of the kicker. I was like, what am I doing here? I'd kind of fallen into like a zombie state where I forgot that I am a professional person, got a professional background of 25 plus years in commercial lending, and it's just real easy. Like I think I was mentioning earlier, that this kind of, you change your environment and you're going to become what you're surrounded by. And so my mindset just became, I think, slowly, bit by bit, kind of I'm an hourly employee, I'm even a temp, this kind of thing. And I just forgot all my, didn't forget it all, but it's just like a personality change or a character change or something. I don't know, man. It just comes over you and you can't even really notice it if you're not careful. But when this started happening, it started opening my eyes, and I started realizing, shoot, I'm becoming, a lifelong employee. Let's say if I don't get out of here and I'm not careful. So they've done these things, mess around my breaks, give me all these extra projects, expect me to do it all alone with no assistance in the department, that kind of thing. And I realized I, couldn't stay here any longer, or it was really going to affect us long term, me, my family, etc. And I confirmed to my wife that she still felt the same and supported me, and she said, go ahead and do it. And so I worked my shift. Like I said, I am a professional one way or the other. So I could have left right then and there, but I didn't. I finished the 9-hour shift, and at that time found the manager, gave them the keys to the department and their badge and vest and everything that belonged to them. I told them thank you for the opportunity, but I won't be returning. And the thing is too, they had me set up even the next day to work a 9-hour shift alone in the department again. So it was like, this is ridiculous. Holiday season and they're doing that. I don't need this. And so I quit on the spot with nothing else going on, official job wise, right? And sometimes in life you've got to take these leaps and not be afraid of where you're going to land. I had mentioned I'd started an auditing firm, and about a week later I got contacted by someone from a lender I had worked for. I'd done some audits for them, and they were looking for an auditor. And I told them, well, I'm doing my own thing now, not with the former group I was with. And they gave me contact info for the person at their bank so I can become, an approved vendor with my new auditing firm I created. I could do that with them. And so, I'm reaching out to some others. In the meantime, I've been able to source a lot more inventory than I was able to before, kind of splitting my time with Walmart and just kind of getting caught up in this draining cycle of, oh, I'm so tired of being overworked or whatever it is. And I've sourced a ton of stuff lately that is really going to pay off in terms of profit once I send it into Amazon in the next few days. And so it's allowing me to really focus myself on who I am, which is a professional with some kind of decent future, right? And to get my business going, my business is really, I've created the two companies, the reselling company. I did that in 2019. I started the auditing firm. I'm just kind of moving forward with both of those, and then in the meantime, rather than waste my time in the Walmart job or this retail type environment, I'm spending time during the break with my kids and focused on my businesses, something that's more beneficial to me and my family, as opposed to just being another cog in the machine at Walmart going nowhere. So really the point of this video, I just kind of maybe wanted to get it off my chest or get it on record, like just for posterity or something, but also to encourage everyone out there that don't be afraid to take chances. Just don't get caught up being a cog in the machine. It's real easy to do so. You've got to break away from that, and sometimes you even have to break away from people that want to keep you there, meaning friends and family, and just kind of keep grabbed onto those goals you have in mind, and because you know where you want to go better than anybody. And people kind of always tend to stay in a status quo, and they want to keep you there if you're part of that status quo for them. So just take chances, go for it. And I don't know, man, just don't get stuck, like I say, being just day-to-day person that life happens to you, and then next thing you know, all these years have passed and all that time's been lost. That's all I got for now. I'll be trying to post videos more consistently in the future. Good luck, guys. Everybody have a great Christmas, holiday season, whichever faith you belong to, and we'll be in touch again with another video. Bye.